everybody. Namaste. So I don't know why I thought I was going to get away with not doing a video on the full moon in Aries, because it turns out I have to. Our sun sign, my sun sign is Aries, and our sun sign is what represents our soul. So in spiritual practice, as we're getting closer to understanding our soul's being there, recognizing our soul, recognizing our own divinity, recognizing the divinity in others, as we're all sovereign beings, we come to look at life differently. And when we're serious about dedicating ourselves to a spiritual path, we do have to develop and do the work to bring ourselves closer to our virtues and higher vibrations, and following really our destiny and our life's purpose. And I've had two people, so anyway, today the full moon is in Aries, and it's really bringing out my soul. And I'm feeling really grateful because it's a difficult day for me. Today's date has always been a challenging one because it brought in some people into my lives that were a bit challenging to me. And yet, were absolutely instrumental to my soul's development, my purpose, these videos, and where I even am right now. And when we can get to a place in spiritual practice where we're grateful for where we are, we're grateful to the people in our lives that got us to where we are, then we're no longer the victims. And we don't look back at life in regret. We understand that all the souls that we come into contact with are there for a reason and teach us some lessons. Sometimes it's bad and it's hard. Karmically speaking, this is what we deserve. So we try to balance our karma with these people, with these souls, recognizing everybody is on a soul's journey. And we can bond and grow together in awareness, or we can be blind to the fact that this is happening and end up playing out karmic roles. Even these are meant to happen to make us stronger, but they're sort of relationships that are asleep, and we don't recognize the pain that we can instill on each other in these relationships if we're not aware of the growth that we were meant to bring to each other. So today I wanted to honor, as the full moon in Aries, and being so very grateful that I'm on my soul's path and I'm on this journey. And I feel very close to my soul today, which means I feel very connected to Source. I had amazing dreams, and I woke up with a renewed sense of purpose and deep soul happiness, understanding that I'm a soul in this human body and I'm on a journey, and that I have to respect everybody else around me's soul and their journey as well. And when we can get to this insight, we really get to the bottom of our truth, and in this place we heal, and in this place we speak the truth, and we create bonds that we are aware in, and we strive for love and happiness. And this is growth and evolution, and I'm so grateful that I've come to this place, because we have to put down our egos, we have to surrender our egos to get to this place, and that isn't easy. Our ego is what wants us to be the victim. It's what we perceive when we feel like the victim in our lives. We're perceiving from the eye of the ego, which is just trying to protect us, really. It's not evil, it's really just it's coming from, this will never happen again to me, and that's very defensive and can actually alienate people around us. So that's not the loving, high vibrational, virtuous place we want to be. And when we can feel more connected to Source and our soul, whatever practices that we have to do to have that happen, go for a bike ride, do a yoga practice, really listening to music, meditation, really looking inwards. I heard this morning, it really resonated, and thought maybe more people should hear this. If we're doing affirmations, positive affirmations in the mirror, pointing to the mirror only, that can really backfire, because we are really actually speaking to mostly our image and our ego when we're doing mirror affirmations. And if you're boosting your ego with your positive affirmations, that's actually not spiritual work, it's spiritual bypassing. Sometimes it takes a while to learn this, but how we learn it is that we've boosted up our egos to a certain degree, and that can make us feel better and positive, but it's not actually high vibrational, so that once we run into challenges or something that challenges this ego, we completely crumble, and we don't have the fortitude to get back up. And that way, we've done it to ourselves. And this is taking responsibility. Nobody wants to take that responsibility initially, but if we're really coming from our soul's eye perspective, the higher self perspective, I often say it like this, like we're above and we're also really deep down inwardly looking. We know the role that we took. We know the role that we played in our suffering. We know that our ego was playing that mask, and this is what I'm asking, that we crumble. In spiritual practice in general, this is what we're trying to eliminate, and get over the ego. Get over yourself. Come down to the basis of your soul and speak your soul's truth. Understand that that's for the better of all and not just yourself. So we're not trying to focus our whole lives on our egos and what's been done to us, but our souls and what's been done for us to grow. And I was lucky enough to have contact with these two people who were born on this day. One of them brought me to Montreal. I don't even know how. We met, and 3 months later we were living together in Montreal. We made that decision and we just made it happen. And sometimes with this Aries full moon, I want to just say, with the spark of Aries and the fire and the drive, we have to make our own lives happen. We have to make our own dreams come true. And this is what I learned through him, because he also came here and he tried out for a band, and he got into a band, and he got to travel the world through that band. And through that band, so much music was uncovered and discovered and made and explored, and Morchiba was one of them. And so Morchiba really makes me think of him. And during this full moon and fiery Aries, I've been trying to do all of my calming practices. So I've been listening to Morchiba, Big Calm, and of course it's making me think of him. And this song in particular, which is part of the process, and it's that sometimes we meet people and it is part of the process, whether it's going to be good or bad, it was destined to be, and best we learn our lessons, best we not have relationships that are just escape, but that we actually can live our dreams through them. And even if they end, we still are grateful for their existence in our lives, because he got to live his dream and I got to come here. And really, Montreal has been my home base for almost 25 years now. This street in particular, he chose the street. He knew I would love this neighborhood. And it's enveloped me. It's brought me so much spiritual insight and clarity. I've always been sort of under this umbrella of magic in this neighborhood. I worked in a coffee shop bakery where we were so extremely close, the girls and I in that coffee shop, and the owners, the Greek family that were my family. And tragedy struck many times. I mean, I feel like I came here to work for them just to experience grief after grief after grief. But it was all part of my spiritual development. And I'm, in retrospect, eternally grateful because it's all part of the process. And I don't think I could say that at the time of the suffering or the grief, but as you get older, that's what wisdom is, where we look back and we know how incredibly strong we are by what we've experienced and by what we've gotten through to the other side. Which leads me to the next person whose birthday is today. So happy birthday to that person, the first one who brought me here to Montreal. I don't want to say any names, but he actually even got me into yoga, because when I first moved to Montreal, everyone smoked cigarettes, and so it was like an indulgence. We all just drank coffee in all the coffee shops and smoked cigarettes. But at some point I wanted to quit, and I started doing yoga. In Montreal, I discovered this amazing yoga world, and it also started my journey in yoga. And then when he was hitting his wall and his growth through the ending of the band he was in, he got into yoga as I encouraged him to really sort of find himself throughout that experience. And so he's now a yoga teacher, he owns a yoga studio, he met his wife through that process, it's all part of the process, and I'm very happy. We still respect each other very much, and so I'm very happy that all of that ended up the way it did. And even after him and I broke up, I very quickly afterwards got pregnant with somebody else, and that baby, his due date was supposed to be today, October 19th, and which was the birthday of my ex. So I just thought it was hilarious. It did end up being his birthday. I held Zubin in. I thought, how on earth am I now having a baby born on the day of the... Anyway, I kept him in, and he was born a week later. So on the 27th, my son will be 20 years old. And so we're celebrating that, because through that relationship that brought me to Montreal brought my son to me. And the magic of that, even though there was great suffering in it all, I think it's the magic and the irony, which means that, it just shows us that there is something bigger at work. All of these things are happening for a reason. Everything in every moment is happening exactly as it should, if we allow the flow of energy to be happening, if we are not just asleep in it all. And so after all of this time last year, when my true spiritual path started, and I got COVID and I got illuminated to the fact that I needed to start working with energy. And I had a vision that was from Mother Mary and Jesus, and not my first vision of Jesus. And there were many testimonials online about visions of Jesus, so I won't go there. But Mother Mary brought this message to me to work on energy. She brought the guide that was going to teach me to the forefront of my mind. And somehow, at the time, I was listening to a dolphin song, which was raising my vibrations, and I knew that I was to be raising my vibrations. And I didn't ever actually want to be working in energy medicine. But I was also already a massage therapist, and I knew that it was just the future of medicine, even as far as COVID goes, or pandemics where we couldn't actually be face-to-face, that we could still heal through energy. And so I was led down this path, and I met this energy teacher online that was in central Mexico, rural Mexico. And he was from the Netherlands, and his birthday was today, October 19th. And he looks almost exactly like my ex. And the irony, though he's 10 years younger than me, the irony. So we started talking, and I was very insistent on all of these visions and everything that I was having, and that all of this was happening for a reason. And I think I freaked out this guy totally, probably. And over a series of conversations, I learned through him the importance of being serious on the path of spiritual work. And when you engage in spiritual practice, ultimately extra senses are developed. And in these extra senses that are developed, they can start to freak us out. And so I was having these visions and these extrasensory experiences, and I needed him to explain them to me. And he very, very sweetly got me to calm down and told me that whatever I could do to stay calm would be ideal. And I really appreciate that. And so again, with the big calm, he was a big fan of Morchiba. I posted a video one day and he commented on how happy he was that we could bond on that. The liking of this. And I mean, music and resonance. Music gets to our soul. Actually, what I was saying before about just saying affirmations to the mirror and to our ego and how detrimental that can be. It's suggested, instead of doing that, to listen to music or to chant or to sing. Spiritual practices get down, and music gets down, the resonance gets down to the root of our soul. And there we're actually healing, and there we're actually reaffirming our strength and our fortitude, so that we are actually strengthening and growing spiritually on the road of spiritual growth. And we're awake in all of our interactions, and we don't take things ego personally, and we grow through our ego, we expand. Music helps this because we actually get to the level of the soul that way, and that way we're actually speaking to our soul. And through this, through meditation practices or yoga practices or music practices or even art or any therapy where we're, the things that make life worth living really, are all spiritual practices, and these are all even opening us to our extra senses, right? We are having intuition, creativity, insights, and all of these extra senses are what creates the abilities to have psychic abilities, and we're actually working on these when we're aware and when we're in the moment, or in calm, in healing, in silence, in spirit, in our soul. This is how we gain fortitude moving forward, in awareness, and in positive bonds moving forward, in positive relationships moving forward. And he taught me, my energy teacher then had taught me that often we go onto the spiritual path when we've experienced grief after grief after grief, and loss, as I experienced here in Montreal with my first boyfriend that brought me here, born on this day. And that at a certain point we will go looking for answers, and when I did, I found my energy teacher, also born on this day, which wasn't romantic at all. It was seriously just teacher-student, until the point when he all of a sudden seemed to feel above me or closer to God than me, and I couldn't handle that. I had to remind him that we are all sovereign beings, and we are all equally close to God. And in that point, he understood that our meeting, our soul's meeting, was mutual teaching, not just teacher-student. It was mutual teaching. But at that point, I needed to take a bit of a break from him, and I'm wishing him happy birthday, and I know that we're not finished the work that we have to do together, and we will talk again at some point, as I do seriously have to get to Mexico to study with him. I know that. And I'm honoring him and thanking him and wishing him happy birthday today through this song of, I know that it's all part of the process. Even when we lose touch with people, when our souls are truly meant to work together, we will come back together in faith and in trust through the process of meeting people, losing people, and grief, and getting to know your soul, getting to know your spirit. Eventually we understand that in the big calm we have faith. We sit in ourselves and we trust the process. And in the big calm of this full moon, which I'm so surprised is bringing me such a big calm and soothing hug from God and my soul. And now I know that I'm really on my soul's journey and my soul's path. And I'm really ready to teach anyone that needs help with that. And how to expand and be in the moment and be in awareness in your relationships so that things can happen positively and not negatively. And that way we keep our vibrations high and we truly understand the process. So I'm grateful to God, Source, the universe, whatever we want to call him, that force that is bigger, larger than us, that reminds us that we are a spark of it. We have that divinity in us. We are all sovereign beings and we need to respect that. We need to respect our souls. We need to lay down our ego. And even if we have to tell it, it's okay to have new experiences. It's okay to get out of the comfort zone. It's okay. We don't need to fear so much. We don't need to worry so much or be so self-protective. We can have faith. Once we heal our experiences deep down in our souls, we truly can have faith. And even once we develop these extra senses, we can have even more faith going out into the universe, into the world, into our lives, knowing that we can make our lives, we can make our dreams be whatever they want. And with fiery passion, even with Aries fiery passion, we can go out and chase our dreams that are really for the betterment of our souls, not negativity and not unaware, but very aware of what's best for us moving forward. We can accomplish whatever we set our minds to. And Spirit will back us up in that if we're really living from the truth of our soul, which is deep down in our hearts. So what's delicious to you? What do you really want to accomplish? It's okay that you do, so go out and accomplish it. As long as we're living our truth, we'll be happy. If you're feeling in some sort of misery or angst, it's because you've distanced yourself from your soul and you're living mostly in your ego, and that's a really uncomfortable place to be. So drop the mirror affirmations. They don't work like you think that they do. Start listening to some music and heal your soul. Get down, chant, get down into the root of your pain and heal it. And that way, moving forward, we understand that we're not victims of our pasts. It was all a great blessing, as are the people and all the experiences, the souls that come into our lives. Even if they were bad, they were for the best, and they made us who we are. And my soul is grateful for the two people in particular that taught me about yoga and taught me about energy and taught me how to follow the spiritual path in a big, calm way and trusting that it's all part of the process. Happy birthday to you guys. And for some reason, birds represent spirit, and I got bird seeds yesterday, and there are so many birds around my place. It's crazy today. There are just so many birds, and I'm so grateful. It's just their spirit is everywhere. Happy Aries full moon. Also, remember to live your dreams, and get the fortitude too. If you don't feel strong enough, do the spiritual work. Lie down and do your yoga. So let's lie down. Big stretch. In gratitude. Start on the left. Circles.
Angry faces, cussing loud, changing places, falling proud.
Okay, both legs at once now. Hold under your bum if that helps.
You smash the web till it's gone. Attempt to grow and fix undone. I am the way. It's all to scale. We're all companions on which we sail. It's all part of the process. We all love looking down. All we want is some success, but the chance is never around. It's all part of the process. We all love looking down. All we want is some success, but the chance is never around. It's all part of the process. We all love looking down. All we want is some success, but the chance is never around. It's all part of the process. We all love looking down. All we want is some success, some chance.
A few seconds in Savasana. Really entering your soul. Let it envelop you and let it tell you everything is okay. It's all part of the process. We heal, we grow, we move on. Grateful to the souls that come into our lives and all the lessons learned. And all these lessons learned are what makes us who we are in the long run. In every lifetime, over and over, we get it better and better. As long as we're always moving forward and upwards, we never know on this journey. But try to stay aware and awake in your relationships and make sure that you're only encouraging soul growth and happiness moving forward, not pain or misery or confusion, though that's part of the process. We live fully anchored in our souls now, feeling the fire of this full moon really enveloping us in our truth, self-respect, and we can go out and get whatever we want out of life, so might as well go and get the positive. And don't get too upset with your ego when it reacts to things. Just set it aside, sit in your soul, and understand that you're working towards growth. And happy birthday to those born today, October 19th. And thanking you for all the spiritual growth you've brought into my life. And now we move forward. Namaste. Love and light.